Welcome to a brand new episode of Gadget Nation. I'm Adam Carruthers, and like I promised you last week, here we are, yet again, in a quartet in Taman Tun. Really enjoying the vibe here, and I got plenty in store for you, including something which can be set up at your home, something which has got me really excited, especially if you love nice, crystal clear displays. What could I be talking about? Just a small facet of what we have in store today. So, will I enjoy my drink? Shall we start?
Ricoh Malaysia and MakerBot aspired to bring printing to a whole new level with brand new cutting-edge 3D printing technology poised to provide the resources and best solutions to complement the growth of industries. The price started from 4,999 ringgit for compact 3D printers and up to 10,699 ringgit for small-medium enterprise level. Microsoft has announced the new Lumia 430 that is priced at only around 260 ringgit, sporting a 4-inch display that does a modest 800 by 480 pixel resolution, supporting dual SIMs and runs on a 1.2 GHz dual-core Snapdragon 200 processor. The new Lumia 430 is hardly any different from the Lumia 435 that was announced recently. MSI has announced its latest gaming notebook GE72 Apache series, featuring the latest Intel Core i7 processor and NVIDIA GeForce GTX 960M graphics. MSI continues to roll out gaming notebooks with even more impressive performance, blazing features, and stunning visual performance.
You know what I like to do? Let me tell you what I do every time I wake up in the morning. I will get up, I'll go brush my teeth, or do whatever, shower, etc. Then I will go and sit at my computer with a coffee, like the one here. However, I'm not just sitting there, I'm browsing the news, etc. And there's this one thing which is attractive to me as I'm surfing the internet. That has to be the screen itself. Now, Apple have released something which is like, wow, the 5K display. You may have heard about it. We got our hands on one of these iMacs, and it is absolutely stunning. Retina display, but on a 27-inch screen. I mean, you really couldn't ask for anything more. But how does it stack up compared to, say, the iteration from last year? Well, there's a lot to investigate. What we have right here is an absolute marvel. I mean, we all know about 4K. You can stream your 4K videos, etc. What we have here is what Apple like to call 5K, and it blows it out the water, over 14 million pixels here. Even if I go right up close to the screen, I still can't make out any pixels, and it is just marvelous to look at. Imagine the best display on your mobile phone or your tablet, and then enlarge it onto the actual 27-inch display, which I have right here. It is absolutely glorious. That is all I can say. But apart from that, the iMac in itself hasn't changed that much from last year's edition, which is still available for you to buy in various sizes, various options, etc. So the question is it really worth it to have something so large and, of course, with a rather hefty price tag as well? Now, being such a big display, being such an all-in-one device means it's a bit limited in what it can do. And again, that comes back to the price factor. But take nothing away. Just looking at it, within about 5 or 10 minutes, you probably won't want to switch back to a regular display of any size, because this is just, wow, it blows my mind. I can just look at this all day long. It is the best display I've seen in a very, very long time. But there's also a lot holding back this iMac from many things. But then again, it also comes down to your own personal usage, what you're going to be using a device like this for. So it's very, very subjective, although this can handle quite a lot. So let's jump straight into some of the specs. There's so much to just play around with. I mean, in terms of specs inside, several things can be tweaked. I can tell you there's 8 GB RAM in the one that we have, but it can be upgraded thanks to ports to the back to 32 GB. Again, subjective for your very own usage. In terms of graphics, it's pretty nifty. The AMD Radeon R9 M290X is packed inside here, and it does a pretty nifty job if you ask me. And particularly, I mean, it's not really going to handle 5K video games, but it can handle quite a bit thrown at it, and that includes streaming videos in 4K as well. Now, in terms of gaming, if that's what you're interested in, you can run it up in boot camp. It should be able to handle most of what you throw at it. So definitely a step up in that direction, although don't expect something amazing in terms of 5K gaming. In terms of the processor, 3.5 GHz Intel Core i5, again, that can be changed as well. Now, when it comes to things like that, it really has to be customized. If you go to the shop here, you probably won't be able to do much apart from sticking a bit of RAM extra at the back. I think at the store I saw it, it was about 1,000 ringgit for 32 GB of RAM. So again, subjective if you need it or you don't. But my advice to you is to go online and then spec it out how you want it, because there's additional tag-ons that you can do only online. They'll basically build the iMac for you and ship it over. Again, that's if you want something like i7, etc. Now, obviously, the design itself it's marvelous. I mean, it's only about 5 millimeters thick at the sides, etc., with a slightly bulbous middle part just for the extra components that you can see right there. And it does look sleeker than ever, but also rather similar to what we've had last year. Now, I remember way back in like 5 years ago, it was a lot thicker and it's definitely a lot more streamlined. Just looking at the box alone, it's a lot smaller, so that's a huge plus point. It's lost, of course, the disk drive, so if you are the type of person that needs that, you have to buy that as an extension. Then again, a lot of devices nowadays don't have it. One minor problem which I have, which you kind of get used to if you've ever used an iMac before, is having all the ports at the back. It's on the underside where my right hand is, so your USB, your Thunderbolt, etc., it's all there. So you have to reach around like I just did in order to, say, plug in the thumb drive or your hard disk, whatever you want to plug in. And it can be a little bit annoying, but if you're not the type to really go back and forth, it really shouldn't be an issue. But that's just part of the whole Mac packaging which we get, of course, from Apple, which in itself doesn't take away too much from the experience. If you're a stickler for height, you have to make sure of your table as well, because you can tilt it, but you can't adjust the height. That will be based on the surface which you're using it on, or the chair, of course. So just bear that in mind if your body's a little bit weird or you're a little bit niggly about that, because it can be a slight issue for some people if tilting simply isn't good enough for you. But you can just set it up, just turn it on, batteries inside, turn this on, plug it in, just one plug at power point, and you're good to go. And that's the simplicity of it above everything else, which really sells this product. So what do I think in closing? Of course, it is an Apple device. It is just gorgeous. I mean, it's the benchmark. It's a leader in terms of display. Obviously, there's still going to be a few things holding us back. You can't really use this as a monitor currently. Let me put it this way. Because of the fact that it's such a high resolution, the Thunderbolt cable cannot transfer enough data, as in it just can't handle the load of hooking a Thunderbolt cable to the back of this onto another monitor. So you're stuck with just this. I mean, that is how much data is on the screen in order for you to embrace 5K. But if monitors aren't your thing, basically if you're a film editor, predominantly, maybe also gamers, this will definitely not be good for you, because I know most film editors prefer to have a dual screen and it's all connected. It won't work with this, at least not yet. I know some of my friends actually find that a big issue waiting for this to be upgraded, but I'm sure it will come about in the future. I'm sure other brands will also do their own 5K screens, but right now, this is pretty much it. This is the benchmark leader, and they've done a fabulous job. Now, the question is, if you've bought a Mac within the last year or two, is it worth, iMac rather, is it worth upgrading to something like this? If the screen itself is a real stickler for you, if you're the type to watch a lot of 4K videos, etc., this could be a deal breaker for you, because it's such a nice screen. But that's the only thing that separates it from everything that we've seen in the past year or two. And the price, it's not that bad if you bear in mind that it's a 5K device, but it's still not cheap either. It's just under 7,000 ringgit. Now that's just for effectively the base model. That doesn't include any extra RAM you put in, or if you customize it online at the Apple site and then have it built for you. If you want the i7 inside or any other bells and whistles, including software. Don't forget, something like FCP is expensive as well. you find yourself adding more and more and more to the bill. So just the basic one you'll find in the shops, slightly under 7,000 ringgit. This in itself is just an all-in-one PC. It's a bit limited in terms of future-proofing. You can only upgrade the RAM, not much else. That's something else to bear in mind. But if you're willing to make those sacrifices, it could be a very worthwhile investment, because this will be the industry standard in terms of screens for a little while at least. Absolutely guaranteed. This is beautiful. The 27-inch Retina 5K display. Wow.